Good morning, everybody. It is Barry from Lakewood Division of Aging coming to you. We are doing a senior chefs today, and so we're pretty excited about our senior chefs. I am going to be doing a recipe that I very, very much enjoy. I think that this is so much fun. We actually had this posted in the May calendar. We are going to be making sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is a wonderful treat. It tastes good, it's extremely healthy. The lactobacillus in the sauerkraut is good gut bacteria. It produces some very good antioxidants. It's healthy for us and it tastes great. I have gotten started a little bit. I've gotten some cabbage chopped up, and we are going to chop up another quarter of this cabbage. So cut this in half. We're going to save this for kielbasa and cabbage this weekend. But this one here we're going to chop up for some more kielbasa, some more sauerkraut. I'm taking out the core. Just cut that right out. And then we're going to loosely, in rather thick pieces, we're going to chop this up for the sauerkraut. Okay, we're going to cut it this way as well, and this then goes into our pan. So here's our pan over here. We're going to just kind of break this up and spread it out a little bit. It's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect with sauerkraut. Okay, there we go. I am going to get our knife out of the way. We are done with that. And the next step in the process. We need to cause the sauerkraut, the cabbage, to get rid of its moisture. So what we're going to do is add natural sea salt. This sea salt does not supply iodide. If you get the iodized sea salt, or if you get iodized salt, it's not going to work. So if you're going to attempt this at home, make sure that you use non-iodized salt. Also, you can put in any sort of spices that you would like in your sauerkraut. I made a batch that Jill and I are going to be sampling in a little while, and this has dill weed and caraway. My wife is not a big caraway fan. She loves her sour cream and paprikash, not so much on the caraway. So for this one, we are going to leave the caraway seed out. I've got some dill seed in here and the salt. I've heard of people putting in red pepper flakes. You can put in celery seed. It's whatever you like. Whatever spices agree to you, then those are the ones that are going to go into your sauerkraut. What we're going to do is this. We're going to just sprinkle the salt over the cabbage. Sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. And now we're going to knead in the salt into the cabbage. We're going to just get it all mixed up together in there. It's pretty well mixed at this point. Now, my trusty camera woman Jill is going to pause the video, and we're going to wait 10 minutes. Hi everybody, we're back. What has happened is we have added the salt to the cabbage. We stirred it up, mixed it up. I let it sit for a while, for 10 minutes. I got back in here again, stirred it up again, let it sit for another 10 minutes, and now Jill will come in close and you'll be able to see the water that has kind of oozed off of the cabbage. It's kind of begun to wilt a little bit, which is exactly what we wanted. At this point, we are ready to start packing the cabbage into the jar, and all by itself it is going to turn itself into sauerkraut. So here is our jar. I use a quart mason jar. If you don't have a mason jar on hand, no worries. Get a big spaghetti jar, spaghetti sauce jar, or some other large glass jar that has a lid, and you will be just fine. What we're going to do is start packing the cabbage into this jar very, 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 very tightly. We're going to have a really good, nice, tight seal. So we're going to fill this thing up. Jill is very excited because she is a well-known sauerkraut lover, and she is very much looking forward to trying this other batch of sauerkraut. Right, Jill?
Correct.
All right. That's very enthusiastic. Let's see how much more we can stuff in here. Hopefully we'll get it all in. So yeah, to the best of your abilities, try to just wedge that into the bottom of this container here. What we're doing is creating an anaerobic environment. A-N-A-E-R-O-B-I-C, anaerobic environment, which means without oxygen. And so we're going to create this anaerobic environment, and the bacteria that is found naturally on the leaves of the cabbage is going to do its work and turn itself into the sauerkraut. It's basically going to be fermenting in here. Okay, I planned that just perfectly because there's no more sauerkraut and there's pretty much no more room. We're going to take the last little bit of this juice from the cabbage. We don't want to waste that. We're going to pour that in there. And now, what we're going to do is we are going to top it off with distilled water. If you do not have distilled water, that's okay. It's probably better though with distilled water, because this way we're not getting any of the other chemicals that are found in our own tap water. So I've got Giant Eagle brand distilled water. There's no specific measurement or anything like that. We're just going to pour it in until it's covering the cabbage. Let it get all the way down to the bottom there. Let's see if it settles. I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. Now, the next part of this process is very, very, very important. I want to make sure that everybody hears me, because what we are going to do is not put the lid on this thing. This is the fermentation process. It's going to shoot off gases. Don't worry, it's not going to stink up your kitchen or anything like that. However, we do want to be able to allow the gases to escape. If you don't allow the gases to escape, conceivably they could build up underneath the lid. You could break your jar, and it's not going to hurt anybody, but it's going to make an awfully big mess, and you do not want that. So what we're going to do is take a piece of saran wrap, put it over the jar. Got a rubber band here. It's going to go around the top. And so it's covered, nothing weird is gonna fall into it. However, when it does start to work, then the gases will be able to escape with no problem. One other tip that I will share with you. You may want to take a saucer or a small dish or something like that and set it into the small dish, because it has also been known to kick off some fluids as well. You should check this every 3 or 4 days. And just take a look at it and make sure that there's water covering all of the leaves. You don't want any leaves above the water. Everything should be below water. And taste it in a week. Taste it again in 2 weeks. Try it again in 3 weeks. The cabbage that I have over here has been going for about 3.5 weeks. And so we're going to try this out. As I had said previously, there are caraway seeds in this because I like caraway seeds. There is none in that because Cecilia does not like caraway seeds. And I'm going to take the camera, and Jill here is going to sample the sauerkraut. She's going to tell us what she... Go.
All right.
Here's Jill.
Gonna try this delicious cabbage.
You can
sauerkraut.
You can eat this sauerkraut raw, or you can cook it. I have a feeling we're going to be cooking ours up. Kielbasi, sauerkraut, potatoes. I think. What do you think, Jill? Do you taste the sour? All right. So.
Kind of like pickle.
Kind of like pickles. Exactly right.
It's very good.
One thing that I will tell you is that with this homemade sauerkraut, it's not going to be as sour and it's not going to be nearly as salty. And so for those people who are watching their salt intake, this is a very, very good way to go. What I am going to do when I get it home, I'm going to put the lid on it, close it up tight. It can go into the fridge, and it is ready to be eaten. Okay, everybody, thanks for tuning in for Senior Chefs. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Jill, and
Bye, guys.
we'll do something fun next week.